So Warner Brothers and DC Comics are releasing something new. It's Aztec Batman. Yes, you heard that right, because all cultures are beautiful, or something, and especially those that are least white, they're the most beautiful of all. I mean, look, I'm all in favor of sort of historical fiction. I can enjoy that from time to time, but usually with historical fiction at least, what's being presented is not the very opposite of what would have happened and what did happen. But that's what we're talking about today. Let me go ahead and show you. I'm going to try and walk the line here on showing you some of the trailer without getting myself into trouble and getting a copyright strike. So let's give this a go.
A wise man told me once, fear can kill you or inspire you to action.
My son, when you take my place, it'll be your duty to always be ready for battle.
What are those?
Evil white man.
My hands control the power of destiny. What I want is gold.
Impossible. We have strict rules in place that forbid this.
Rules are rules.
Slaughter them all!
Are you all right? Where's your father?
I'm going to stop Cortez. I want you to train me to become the greatest warrior that the world has ever known.
What else do you require, my lord?
Fear.
Even with all of your training, I still can't defeat them.
If only there was somebody who's stealthy.
Okay, that's enough. But you get the idea. So he grows up as Aztec Batman to take on the evil white men who are coming there for gold. And I'm sorry, there's just no historical accuracy at all. In fact, it's not even the opposite. It's just that's just warped. And really underlying the entire thing is this sort of narrative that we should apologize for putting an end to ritualistic human sacrifice, including that of children. And I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to pretend like I want more Aztecs and Incas and I wish that they were still here and I wish that they were still doing their savagery. I don't. I don't, and I'm just not apologetic of that at all. You know, there are these politically correct scholars who often laud such, I don't want to say civilizations, such groups for their, like, admittedly impressive architectural triumphs. And so, you know, you're looking there at these different, you know, really impressive pyramid things, and then you realize at some point, well, what is that built for? Like, what were they doing with that? And then it's like, oh, of course, it's the altar on which they sacrificed human beings to false gods, which, you know, if we go with the psalmist, a false god is just a demon. But anyway, that's what it is. So on the very top, you got like this table thing with the channels for the person's blood to run through. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to pretend like it's a bad thing that so-called civilization, which doesn't merit the term, was destroyed. That's a good thing. That's a triumph of its own. And, you know, it's just ahistorical to act like that was civilized. It wasn't. These were the altars at which they engaged in all kinds of just vicious, you know, human sacrifice. And some of these different groups, we believe, also engaged in cannibalism. They would eat the heart. They were worship sites to false gods. And you can see, but in looking at their civilization, or what's left of it, what they cared most about. That's why these massive structures are what sustain, what continue to exist. Their civilization was ordered towards that which is uncivilized and opposed to human flourishing. At least the human flourishing of those people that they butchered. Can we say that? Can we admit that? Because otherwise we're just engaging in some fanciful exercise. Like, I'm not saying that that you had a utopian area over, you know, in Spain or England or these European nations, but I am saying that what we look at when we look at the Aztec civilizations and the Incas and all of these, like, that was savage and barbaric, and it was the very thing that sort of centralized their being. It's what they were ordered towards. Hence, these massive structures in favor of them. And so you've got this, point at the early part of that commercial, where the white man just kind of walks up to them and says, "Destroy them all," because they won't give them gold, which is just, kind of retarded. Can I say that on this channel? I don't know. But anyway, what do you think would have really happened? Okay, so the Christian walks up to the Aztec lord and says, "Hey, gotta stop killing the kids. You can't do that anymore. You can't, cut their hearts out, and you can either eat them or burn them or whatever your particular tribe does. It's a no. It's a no from us." What do you think actually happens? Do you think they just go, "Okay, well, you seem civilized, so we're gonna go with that from here out"? No. So yeah, I mean, there was going to be some violence if you were to have that stop. You know what I mean? Do you think they're just going to drop their, what was it called, their tepoddle in the middle of slicing the kid? If you don't know, that was the name for their human sacrifice knife. You mean you don't have one in your kitchen? There you go, being civilized. I mean, seriously. I mean, their entire culture was centered around this. And so, yeah, you're going to end up having, if some group wants to come in and put a stop to that, there are very few non-violent means to make it happen. I mean, even when you look at what happened in India, with the Brits who were in control, and they banned sati, which was the burning alive of widows, right? So a woman's husband dies, and now she's sort of required to self-immolate herself, to commit suicide via the flames, and then she is assisted in doing this. There's a massive cultural pressure to do it, and the entire community is going to turn against her, and she's going to starve. And if she doesn't, they assist her physically. In other words, they force her onto the pyre. That was what was happening. So in order for the British authorities to put an end to that, they made it illegal with the death penalty, which was considered to be normal for, say, homicide at the time. Okay, so what you're doing is establishing an authority from the top, like a top-down morality, essentially. We say, no, this is not licit, this is not okay, we don't care if it is your culture, it's a bad culture, it has to go. And instead we're imposing a better culture from the top, delivered through the law, through a righteous law, a just law, if you like. And that's what happened. They recognized it as a homicide because it was, regardless of what kind of veneer you want to put on it. They didn't care. It's a homicide. You can't kill the widows. You can't set them on fire. If you assist in any way, or if you force, you will be charged, and you'll take the harshest penalty because you've engaged in a homicide. That's what happened. And ultimately, it comes down to, when we look at both history and the present, we have to be willing to say, some cultures are better than others. And what matters also is the religion that undergirds a society. You can place judgment upon a society. You can place judgment upon the religion that undergirds them when it results in manifest evil. And that's what we can see looking at some of these, especially South American cultures. But there are plenty of them. In fact, if you look at the very earliest days of England, way before the Romans got there was some real savagery going on there too. We can condemn that, and we ought to, but we're living in this sort of relativistic world where our only response is to just tolerate everything. And no, there are some things that shouldn't be tolerated, and there are some things that should be applauded, which is the fact that that so-called civilizations that kill kids in order to offer them to false gods are gone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, check out my other work, whether the on-screen videos, which should be over here somewhere, my writings, or even the book. There are options for you. Stick around.